Money may not buy happiness, but it gets you awfully close. See, I've been broke in my life, okay? I've been behind on mortgage payments for a couple months, all those kind of things. I mean, you know, I've been there, and I was happy, I think, okay? I mean, I was pretty stressed, but I was happy. And I believe that, you know, all of us can be broke and happy, or we can be wealthy and happy. That's a decision. I just think most of us would prefer wealthy and happy.
That's right.
See, I promise you invest in a bunch of people's lives, give of yourself, help people's dreams come true, help people's lives change, and you're not going to have any trouble being happy. The exciting thing about Primerica is you can do that here while you build a business. You can do that here while you build a career. You can do that here while you build a life. There's a guy by the name of Ben Stein, an actor, writes a column. I think he writes a column called Monday Night at Morton's, or used to. And for many years he wrote that bi-weekly column. You know, Morton's is a kind of a famous chain of steakhouses. And he terminated his column just recently, and this is the last column that he wrote. He says, how can someone who lives in insane luxurious, lives in insane luxury be a star in today's world? I've been doing this column for so long that I cannot even recall when I started. I love writing this column so much for so long, I came to believe it would never end. It worked well for a long time, but gradually my changing as a person and the world's change have overtaken it. I no longer think Hollywood stars are terribly important. A man or woman who makes a huge wage for memorizing lines and reciting them in front of a camera is no longer my idea of a shining star that we should look up to. How can a man or woman who makes an 8-figure wage and lives in insane luxury be a star in today's world? They can be interesting, nice people, but they are not heroes to me any longer. A real star is a soldier of the 4th Infantry Division who poked his head into a hole of the farm near Iraq. He could have been met by a bomb or a hail of an AK-47 bullet. Instead, he faced the abject Saddam Hussein and the gratitude of all decent people of the world. A real star is a U.S. soldier who was sent to disarm a bomb next to a road north of Baghdad. He approached it, the bomb went off and killed him. A real star, the kind who haunts my memory night and day, is the U.S. soldier in Baghdad who saw the little girl playing with a piece of unexploded ordnance on the street near where he was guarding a station. He pushed her aside and threw himself on it just as it exploded. He left his family desolate in California and a little girl alive in Baghdad. The star who deserves the media attentions are not the ones who have lavish weddings on TV, but the ones who patrol the streets of Mosul even after 2 of their buddies were murdered and their own bodies battered as they protect Iraqis from terrorists. We put couples with incomes of $100 million a year on the cover of our magazines. The non-com soldiers and officers who barely scrape by on a military pay, but stand on guard in Afghanistan and Iraq and on ships and submarines and near the Arctic Circle are anonymous as they live and die. Right. I'm no longer comfortable being part of a system that has such poor values. I do not want to perpetuate those values by pretending those who eat at Morton's is a big subject. There are plenty of other stars in America. The policemen and women who go off on patrol in South Central and have no idea if they will return alive. The orderlies and paramedics bring in people who have been in terrible accidents and prepare them for surgery. The teachers and nurses who throw their whole spirit into caring for children. The kind of men and women who work in hospices and cancer wards. Think of each and every fireman who was running up the stairs of the World Trade Center as the tower began to collapse. Now you have my idea of a real hero. I came to realize that a life lived to help others is the only one that matters. This is my highest and best use as a human being. I can put it another way. Years ago, I realized I could never be a great actor as Olivier, or as good a comic as Steve Martin, or a good economic, yeah, you know what I mean, as Samuelson and Friedman, or a good writer as Fitzgerald, or even remotely close to any of them. But I could be a devoted father to my son, husband to my wife, and above all, a good son to the parents who have done so much for me. This came to be my main task in life. I did it moderately well with my son, pretty well with my wife, and well indeed with my parents. I cared for and paid attention to them in their declining years. I stayed with my father as he got sick and went into a coma and then entered immortality while my sister and I read the Psalms. This was the only point at which my life touched the lives of the soldiers in Iraq and the firefighters in Europe. I came to realize that life lived to help others is the only one that matters. And it is my duty in return for the lavish life God has given me to help others that He has placed in my path. This is my highest, best use as a human being. Thank you.